got everything. Okay, now that I've got the fade done, comb through, and I'm going to check. So I know the way the pattern of the hair grows, so I'm going to comb everything in that direction to make sure that there's no spots I haven't missed. Okay, another thing to note. If your patron's hair or scalp is dry, and as you're doing this, you run into a lot of dry skin dropping onto the chair cloth, don't get freaked out. Don't think, oh God, you know, what is that? It's just dry skin that because you're combing so much onto the scalp, you're breaking up the dead skin, and it's of course going to fall. If it's excessively dry, take a little bit of moisturizer, some body lotion, and rub it onto their head while you're cutting. Take a few minutes, rub it in. This will help out a lot. And it also, you know, customer may be self-conscious about this. Don't just leave them, you know, sitting there in a chair with a room full of people, and if there was a lot of, you know, dry skin on the chair cloth, you know, there's little tricks to that. You can kind of dust off, you know, make it nonchalant. You don't have to make it obvious. But this is all to making the customer comfortable. Okay, now we're going to do the lineup in the front. Because we did a bald fade, we're not lining up the edges. We don't have to. There's no edges to line up. But we are going to line up the front. Let your customer know to move his head down a little bit so that you can get a good view of what you're going to be lining up. One of the problems with lineups in the front is that the barber doesn't know where to start the line and goes back too far, and it ends up looking like he's got a receding hairline. Find where the line is naturally. It's right about here. Okay. If you're going to be going back into these areas here, and you're going to be squaring these areas. So don't round it all the way back and drop too far back into this area. So what we're going to do is we're going to first start with our middle. Okay? And I'm going to imagine this comb just sitting like this and just coming across like that. Okay? Not back, but just going across. And we're going to take it just a little bit in. And we're going to stop. Turn your head just a little bit. We're going to, notice this line right here. This is a natural pattern of his hairline. So we're going to stop right there. Do not go back into this and expect to take this down and cut this whole section out. If you do, this will grow back quickly and it will look unkept. It will look like you made a mess of his hair. So follow the natural contour of his hairline. If he asks you to go back farther, and he's fine with that, and he's okay knowing that that's going to grow back in quicker than the rest of his hair, you can do so, but just try to convince him that it's better to go with the natural hairline that he has and not go back too far. Now that I've got to this section here, I'm going to make a nice hard angle cut. Okay, so make sure I got the hair cut or combed correctly. And you see how I'm working backward with the clippers? You can do this. Don't go like this, because then you can't see what you're doing. Move the clippers around a little bit too. Just a little bit. It sometimes picks up those hairs. Now, like I said, we're doing a zero fade or a bald fade. This bottom area here is tapered in. So if you have enough definition, you can get a little bit of roundness there but there's not too much in his because we faded that in. So we're just going to do that just to clean up in case there's little hairs right over here. Okay. Go around the back of the ear, making sure I got everything on the first round. Okay, now I'm going to have him turn his head. If I can't see where that is, if I'm running blind and I'm cutting from here, or I'm cutting blind and I can't see where that goes to, and I'm trying to match it on this side, I have no idea where I'm going. So you need to make sure that you look, point his head down a little bit, and make sure you're close to the front so that you can see where your point is, and you're going to match it on this side. So in doing so, I look at it. Now I notice it's a little bit higher. I'll go back a little bit more. And you are going to take tiny, tiny steps in getting this line. If you go too far back, there's really no way of fixing it. So make sure you do not cut back too far too soon. And I'm going to take this, my line that goes from here. And again, a little bit of straggler hairs. Now a good way to look at the front here, this point must match this point. So you will turn and look at it. They should be in the same spot. Then you'll look at this point and this point, and they should be the same. Now I'm noticing I'm still off by a little bit. There we go. Now we're even. Okay, you can turn your head. So we have our fade here. Pick up any loose ones. Make sure you bend the ear down right here and get right into here. That's the last thing you want. Have a little tuft of hair growing there. And everything else looks really clean. You don't want any stragglers anywhere. Now with older gentlemen, you may find some hair in the ear. The best way to go about doing that, you're not going to be digging in there too much, but because you don't want to hurt the patron, but you can take the tip and just kind of go like that and pick up the little hairs. There may be some down here. You can pick those up like that. Remember, super light touch when doing that, because you don't want, you push down too hard on their ear, jump. Use a good brush. This is I believe llama hair. It's very soft. It's almost like a makeup brush. Get one of these. There's the old type where it's more like a paddle type brush, and the hairs are really coarse. They hurt. Get something nice like this, because if you're going over their face, dusting them off, there's no reason why it should be scratchy. Okay, now that I've done that, pick up all the loose hairs at the bottom. And when doing the back of the neck, be mindful of razor bumps or ingrown hairs. Can be very delicate. Try not to push too hard, irritate the skin. Stretch the skin out. Use your fingers. Push down here when getting that bottom area. Okay. From that point, you can use an astringent if you like at the very bottom of the neck, or you can use a body lotion or a aftershave. This is one of my products, the aftershave. This works really good. Get it onto your hands. Work it into the skin nicely, making sure you get up here in these corners. You are done with the fade.